Hello everybody and welcome back to BoroB's channel. I'm going to do a small roundup of Spurs versus Manchester United, Jose versus Pep. But before I get to that, please make sure to like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel already. Please get engaged and leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Now, getting straight to the match, Pep versus Jose. Pep basically got schooled by Jose and VAR today because Tottenham Hotspur 2, Manchester City 0. Pep made some interesting selections. Raheem Sterling was left on the bench. Aguero once again not getting a start. Rodri continues to start ahead of Fernandinho in that central defensive midfield role. And all of these things added to their downfall because they were not good. They did not play well in my opinion. Let's get to what happened. So Spurs were being dominated in terms of possession by Man City for the first half. Even the first 2-3 minutes was a perfect example of that. All the possession was by Tottenham, but then the second attack by Tottenham Hotspur ends up in a goal. A through pass by Ndombele opens up the defense completely. Jose's perfect game plan comes to fruition, 1-0 ahead. And then I'll give credit where credit is due. The reaction by Manchester City was very positive. They can count themselves very unlucky to not be 1-1. There was a goal by Llorente, which was deemed to be handball by Gabriel Jesus. But when you look back on it, with all the highlights that we've seen, it is not a handball because the new rule, according to the new rule, when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, handball. Reason being is because it deflects off his hand. It deflects off here, let's say, and then comes up to his shoulder. And I was thinking because his hand supports his shoulder here, that could be given as a handball. But if you look at the rule, anything below here is anything below here is not handball. So handball is they've decreased the proximity of the handball to here, and the ball was here. And even when you see Mike Dean, the referee, telling Kevin De Bruyne why he gave that as handball, he's pointing here, which is not handball by modern rules. So does the referee not know the rule? Clearly he got confused, because that was not a handball and it's given as a handball. Spurs ride their luck, and once again, VAR does not favor Manchester City. Pep Guardiola was one of the ones, wanting VAR to come to the Premier League. Remember, Premier League was one season after all the other leagues, like German league and other Italian league. The VAR was introduced one season afterwards. And it has not worked for Man City. It's actually hampered them, and unfairly so in many occasions. Some of the decisions are so minimal and so 50-50 that it's crazy. Anyways, the handball decision was given. They do not score, and the problems persist with Man City. So what I noticed about Man City is when Aguero does not play, they lack a killer touch. And as good as Gabriel Jesus is, and he's trying very hard, I understand why he plays, because of his hard work, because of his running. But the fact of the matter is, he is not the answer to Aguero. He's not the answer to replacing Aguero. He isn't, and I don't think Guardiola will probably admit that in person, especially in front of the media, but quietly he's probably thinking that. And they must be thinking about finding a natural goal scorer, a killer in front of goal to replace him, whether that's Haaland, whether that's Lautaro Martinez. These are the two players that they've been linked with. Manchester City will have to spend money. Another thing they've done is they've wasted basically another huge chunk of money on defense. In terms of, they bought Ruben Diaz, which is a good signing. I completely agree with that signing. Eric Garcia was not let go. They kept him back from Barcelona. So why did they then go out and spend another 45-50 million on Nathaniel Ake? He's not playing. He's not a left back. I mean, Mendy and Zinchenko are more of the left backs. So they've spent 50 million on a position they don't need. They need to replace Fernandinho because Rodri is not the guy, and I don't think he's the kind of guy that's in the profile of what a dominant CDM is in the Premier League. You think about Kante, Fernandinho, Fabinho, going back years, Makalele, Gilberto Silva, Vieira, Roy Keane. A certain profile of players in that central defensive midfield role always shine. Even someone like Obi Mikel, Michael Carrick, these types of players who are defensively, they sniff out attacks. They have that awareness to read situations, which Rodri doesn't. Rodri is a good presser of the ball, a good passer of the ball. He's a bit like Jorginho, and I just don't think this profile of player works in the Premier League. Although he is tall, he's not the most physical. And I think, I just don't think he's the answer. I think they're missing something in that defensive midfield role. They're desperately missing David Silva. They cannot replace David Silva because he is such a legend of the game, not just of Man City, of Premier League football as well. And how do you replace such a player? Like Philip Foden didn't play either. That's another strange call by Pep. He didn't start Foden. He's been in good form recently. He was on the bench. And selection mistakes by Pep. I thought the new contract would give him a bit of adventure. He would go back to what made him so successful in Man City. Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Bernardo in that three in the midfield is the way it works, because when Fernandinho plays, he presses so well and he sniffs out everything. He's so crucial to the way Man City play, and without him, Rodri just does not work. Another thing about Bernardo, I think this guy's lost form ever since he was sort of wrongfully, I guess you could say, accused of racism. He was very innocent in what he tried to do, but it was deemed by the media as racism. He has kind of lost his touch, and he has been off form. And remember, the first few years, really, it looked like they were going to find a perfect David Silva replacement in Bernardo Silva, and it just hasn't worked out for him. He just has not been the same player since those first 2 years. First year, rather, not the first 2 years. Remember, that first year they played without De Bruyne and won the league for majority of the season. There's something missing in Man City. They're not pressing properly. They're not defending properly. The kilometers they're running, I don't think, if you measure up to previous seasons, I'm not sure if it matches up to it, and they're definitely missing that touch by both David Silva and the killer touch by Aguero. So with Man City, I don't think they're in the title race. I think I'm going to say that now. They're out of the title race. Man City fans, I'm sorry. I think you guys are not going to win the title this year. I think you'll be fighting for top 4. I think being third would be an acceptable season. I just don't see them. I don't see enough goals in that team unless Aguero plays, and Aguero's getting there in terms of age. They have to find a replacement for him, for David, and for Fernandinho, because for me, Rodri is not the answer. That's Man City. What about that man, Jose Mourinho? Champion-elect? Can we say that already? This man, well, we can say that he's going for the championship now, because he is. Let's face it, there's no more... No doubts, no naysaying, no saying that no, Spurs are gonna Spurs it up. You know what? They are in the title race, and they might not win it, but that might not be because they're Spursing it up. It might be because the other team has more depth or something like that. But I think for real, they are in the title race, and they have absolutely everything. They have the best player in the division right now in Harry Kane. They have probably the best supporting act in the division in Heung-min Son, Ronaldo, Son, Messi. This man is just on fire. Once again, his first attack leads to a goal. And I'm going to compare this team. He plays the 4-2-3-1 here. His second last title winning team was the Real Madrid team. And I'm going to compare this team to that. Obviously, he doesn't have the depth that Real Madrid team had. But you can see what he's trying to do. Benzema and Harry Kane play a similar role. They could drop deep and allow Heung-min Son, who's playing the role of Ronaldo, to just tuck in and get in behind. Obviously, he's not as good as Ronaldo. Don't get me on that. I'm not saying he's as good as Ronaldo. And Ndombele is playing the Ozil role. He's playing that, you know, in his body language, is very similar to Ozil. It's a bit lazy, but he has that eye for that final pass, that ability to break the lines. And everything is adding up for Spurs. They look like a solid team. Players like Højbjerg, what a signing. Reguilon. It's not the money, it's how you spend the money. And look at Tottenham. It's not like they have the kind of money that Man U does. But the difference is, he's been back with the players that he wanted. He wanted a player like Højbjerg. He got him. He wanted Reguilon. He got him. And look at it. It's made all the difference. They look like such a balanced team. The only area I will say that Liverpool and us Chelsea, because us Chelsea are in the title race, where we have an advantage is squad depth. That's the only place we have an advantage. But in terms of manager, Jose has the advantage on Lamps. Klopp probably, same level. They're both unbelievably good. And their philosophies are, and Lamps as well, their philosophy is taking place in the team. You can tell that they're going places. And these three teams for me are in the title race. They are 100% in the title race for sure, Tottenham. And I fancy them. I think, well, if it gets to a situation where last 10 games, let's say we're neck and neck, Chelsea are neck and neck with Spurs, I fear Spurs, because the media, because of the money we spent, will make us favorites. Well, I think that they are logically, they are the favorites. Harry Kane or Heung-min Son are at that age where they're expected to deliver. They have the manager. So that for me is a concern, and I think Tottenham are definitely challenging, and I would fancy them in that situation. But as a Chelsea fan, I'm obviously going to hope for the best, and I just think our squad depth could be key, and I hope, because they're playing the Europa League, it comes back and helps us win the league, or at least get close to it. And Liverpool, obviously, we can't count them out. They are, for me, still the favorites. They are the #1 team for me. But I'm just saying, I'm a bit surprised as to how we have come along and how Spurs have come along, how quickly it's happened. No one expected this for Man City. But anyways, guys, this was the review for the Manchester City versus Tottenham game. What a magnificent match. Manchester City not in the title race. Tottenham 100% they are. Jose bosses Pep. VAR not favoring Pep whatsoever. There were other VAR decisions. We'll get to that in another video. But for now, Man City not in the title race. Spurs in the title race. And yeah, Spurs are looking good. I'm going to get back to you guys and do a roundup for the other games. Until then,